John, focused on the steering wheel of his truck as he traveled for days, was thinking about the experiences he had in the small shops along his usual route. He had to stop by these shops frequently because he was a truck driver struggling to make ends meet, and he chose this route to find enough income in big cities. He felt increasingly tired and stressed with each trip. Even the small breaks that were supposed to make his journeys enjoyable had become more and more tedious. Now, he was also feeling uneasy inside small establishments like burger joints, ice cream shops, and diners. Maybe the owners and customers of these establishments had started to worry him. Today, when he entered the usual burger joint, he witnessed that the crowded customers inside were behaving strangely. Some were acting irritable and aggressive, while others were smiling foolishly or seemed lost in a trance. John, unable to make sense of the situation, approached the counter and ordered a hamburger. The young woman at the counter looked at John with dead eyes before walking to the back to get his order. However, her walking style was odd, as if her bones were broken. She swayed back and forth. John was quite disturbed by this sight. The woman's motionless and lifeless appearance worried him. Consequently, John wanted to leave the shop as soon as possible. As he quickly headed for the door, he noticed a security guard. The security guard was moving in the same way, swaying as if his bones were broken. John panicked, realizing he couldn't escape. He decided to ask the shop owner for an explanation. Approaching the owner, John asked, "Why are the people here acting this way?" The shop owner replied, with a deadpan expression, "They are actually new people. They have contracted a disease never seen before." This explanation frightened John even more. The term new people had a completely different meaning for him. It was as if another species had replaced normal people. John wanted to leave the shop quickly, but couldn't. The boiling crowd seemed to trap him inside. His eyes scanned the surroundings, searching for another way out. At that moment, the noise coming from the back of the shop reminded him of a striking fact. These people were not just customers, but also the shop's employees. The sounds coming from the kitchen were out of control. John was now in total panic. He wanted both to get out and understand what was happening inside, but he couldn't do either. The crowd cornered him, taking away his chance to escape. All he could do was watch the horrifying scene around him and try to understand what was happening. Strange sounds were rising from every corner of the shop. Some customers were mumbling incomprehensible things, while others were shouting loudly. The atmosphere was becoming increasingly chaotic and terrifying. John, trying to calm himself, began to take deep breaths. He moved towards the door but still couldn't get out. It was as if gravity had changed, and his steps had become heavier. As he looked around, he noticed that people were becoming more and more mysterious. Some people's eyes had darkened, their faces had become pale. Some had taken on strange shapes as if their bodies were swollen. John, in shock and fear, couldn't understand how so much change had occurred. The shop owner approached John and asked, "Wouldn't you like to be one of them?" Before John could answer, the owner's eyes also began to change. His irises expanded, the whites turned black, and his eyes became lifeless. John, not knowing what to do, continued to look around with fearful eyes. The changes that had happened in such a short time had left him stunned. Were these people really new people? John could no longer bear to stay. Following a strong instinct within him, he made one last effort and headed towards the shop's door. This time he managed to get out without any obstacles. He quickly wanted to get to his truck and drive away. However, what he had seen had plunged him into deep suspicion. As he continued his journey, his mind kept dwelling on the events at the burger joint. Was there something mysterious affecting the condition of these people? Or was something entirely different going on? He was worried that he hadn't acted quickly enough to feel safe. He had a growing desire to gather more information. He wanted to solve the mysterious events at that shop as soon as possible. Now, by postponing his usual breaks, he would proceed as quickly as possible, because what he had seen that day had been the most terrifying experience of his life. While John stared in astonishment at the strange customers in the burger shop, he gave his order to the young woman at the counter. The woman's dead-eyed stare and her swaying walk towards the back worried John even more. The way she moved, as if her bones were broken, made John's hair stand on end. For a moment, John wanted to leave the shop, but just then he noticed that the security guard at the door was moving in the same way. The security guard was acting as if he had lost his own personality and transformed into another being. As John headed for the door, he realized there was no chance of escape. He was on the verge of a panic attack. Approaching the shop owner, he asked for an explanation of this strange situation. The owner's response frightened John even more. They have become new people. They have contracted a disease never seen before. Their bodies and minds are changing. We will become like them over time. Filled with deep anxiety and fear, John wondered if there was a great danger here. The shop owner's words cast a shadow over John's heart. His whole body shivered. He wanted to leave the shop immediately, but he was afraid they might harm him if he tried to escape too quickly. He decided to act calmly and cautiously. Approaching the counter, he asked if his order was ready. The young woman looked at him with dead eyes again and said, without pausing, "I'll bring it right away." John felt nauseous. The woman's tone had also taken on a completely different character. John took his order and quickly left the shop. However, he continued to encounter similar strange events in other shops he passed along the way. Everywhere he went, he witnessed people behaving abnormally. Some people were extremely aggressive and hostile. Others were talking to themselves or staring blankly around. John encountered these bizarre and disturbing scenes throughout his journey. These behaviors, which he had never seen before, began to worry John more and more. Was there a mysterious disease affecting these people? Or was something else entirely happening here? As John tried to make sense of his situation, a flood of questions filled his mind. He began to wonder why these people were behaving this way and what kind of transformation they were undergoing. The shop owner's words suggested they were new people. But who were these new people, and what was happening to them? With his mind in turmoil, John continued his journey, but he no longer felt safe. He began to notice the same strange behaviors in every person he saw. It seemed as if everywhere was infected with this bizarre disease. Determined to escape from this dark and frightening situation, John resolved to do whatever it took. Was he also at risk of being affected by the same thing? Was there a great danger here? Could he continue any further? As these questions plagued John's mind, he had to keep moving forward. He was determined to uncover the mysteries behind these inexplicable events. But he still didn't know what dangers lay ahead. As John continued his journey, he noticed that each new scene he encountered was more terrifying than the last. He was beginning to realize the gravity of his situation. He was now being pulled into a mysterious and dangerous world, far beyond normal human behavior.